Hey there, it's Lisa Danforth from Lisa Danforth Coaching and Remote Working from Home. And today I am here with the always fun and incredibly kind Kate Payne from Standing Out Online. Kate Payne has 25 years of PR experience, and she's really taken that and leaned into utilizing it for helping people really personalize their brand and be able to use it online through their story. And she really works on it through LinkedIn. And I'm just going to let Kate explain a little bit more about that because she's going to be able to explain it better than I can. But I just have to say, I have worked with Kate on multiple things, multiple levels, and she knows her stuff. She really helped pull my story out, which she had to tug and fight for, but she got. And she shows up so fully every single time. So Kate, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you really started using this personal brand and how to lean into it with LinkedIn?
Yes. Thanks for inviting me to be on your little series here, Lisa. It's been really fun to watch, and I appreciate the nice introduction. So basically, my background for about 25 years has been in public relations, journalism, and marketing. And so several years ago, when I got involved with WBON, the Women Business Owners Network in Vermont, I started to really see all of the spirit of entrepreneurialism going on in our state, especially with women. And so my career kind of took a little bit of a pivot, still stayed in the PR and social media realm, but I also started to think like these women really have incredible skills, but none of them feel comfortable or know or have the tools they need to be able to like promote themselves. And whenever we talk about like self-promotion as a term, when I hear that term, I actually get kind of like slimy feeling because self-promotion can be it can be intimidating because I think you've got to be out there like selling and pitching. And the way I work with people is completely opposite of that. So what I try to do, and it's the whole reason I named my business Standing Out Online, is to find that differentiator in you that you can tell a story about. You can't really do that on Facebook or Instagram. You can to a point, but I'm talking from the standpoint of like messaging. But you can on LinkedIn. So that was my platform of choice, was LinkedIn, because you have that long about section that's also used to be called the summary, and LinkedIn had to go and change the lingo. And you have 2,600 characters to tell a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you do it in LinkedIn. And sometimes you can actually say more on LinkedIn than you can on like the About Me page of your website, for example. So that's kind of it in a nutshell about what I do.
And thank you for sharing it that way, because using the tools to promote yourself, I think, is so incredibly important. And that's where I find everyone, but specifically the women that I work with as well, we get tripped up, right? We don't want to be salesy. We don't want to promote ourselves. It's not nice. It's not whatever. But the tools that you share truly are, and that's what that whole personal brand is about, right? Being able to use that story, that your personal brand as a tool to get out there, share your expertise, serve people at the level that you're able to serve at, and really make the impact, but also income that you want to. So thank you for that. Can you just sort of share a couple of those tools? How would people get started with this on LinkedIn?
So most people do have a LinkedIn profile, and I would probably say with a little smile and a snicker is that most people don't pay attention to it. So it's not updated, and that's a common theme I hear all the time. However, I do think in the last year or two, and even in our work together, Lisa, I think you've seen it, is that if you really embrace LinkedIn and you take it seriously and you update it and you have a strategy for it, it can actually be not only a wonderful connection tool, but it can be a wonderful warm lead generation tool. And the way you do that is by serving others. You put content out, you share content, you share your thought leadership, you share your opinion on an article. You build conversation. And of course, on LinkedIn, everything is about business, which is really nice because you don't have people dropping in talking about politics or their kids or their dogs. And then I say, unless, or food, unless you're like a chef, a vet, or a teacher.
It's okay.
So that's when it's okay. But otherwise, it's about business and it's about your industry. It doesn't have to just be about your business. So part of what I love about LinkedIn is like LinkedIn's a great platform to like show the love. All right. Show the love to the people in your industry, especially if you are an online have an online business, or like we do with virtual, with coaching, we can do it in person, but we can do it online. We can do it on Zoom, and we've got clients all over the place. Is to really be building that network and that connection, and being able to be, there's enough out there for everybody. You know what I mean? When you have that virtual world, you're not just competing with a mom and pop down the street. You actually there's tons of people in the world. I mean, Lisa, you're a coach. There's a lot of coaches out there, but you're working online. So the world is your oyster, so to speak, from the standpoint of reaching your ideal client. There's not that direct level, old fashioned competition from the store down the street.
Right. And I love how we're able to utilize this to get out to the world and really show our expertise. Whereas we can certainly speak around town, we might travel a little bit, but being able to do video, to share our blogs, share other content, and curate content to post on our post, on our profile, really helps us get in front of other people's members and lists and tribe, right?
Right.
So I think that is incredibly important. And can you tell us a little bit about how can we utilize LinkedIn to get in front of other people's groups, right? How do we share in a way that is not just cutting it? I see so many people just sharing without putting anything.
Sorry about my printer. It just took on a life of its own.
Mine does that too, but it's always in the middle of the night.
This is the fun part of doing work from home videos. That was the printer, not my stomach.
Right. But I also just want to sort of interject here, right? This is real. This is life. Yeah. This is what's going on right now. We are all home right now because of the coronavirus. But these are things that happen all along. So we need to start getting used to, okay, every now and then that toddler is going to come through, or your dog Rocco might sort of.
You have to be forgiving.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is a part of life. You get to see who we are. This is our personal branding because we went with the flow.
Right. Exactly.
Just to back up and ask that question
about again. How to be sharing, I think is what you were asking.
How can people be sharing instead of just hitting share and they don't say anything about it? But how can they utilize it in a way that's strategic and really helps build their brand and their messaging, their personal messaging?
Well, Lisa, if you don't mind, I'm going to take your question and I'm going to make it relevant to what's going on in our world today with regard to the pandemic and the COVID-19. So sharing on LinkedIn about business and things like that when things are normal is totally good. You can share other people's content. So if you follow a certain blogger that you like, or you follow like Brene Brown, or you follow Seth Godin, or whoever is the influencer in your business or industry, share their content, and then don't just share it with an opinion or a thought. I really enjoyed this article because you can also do original posts about, the type of work you're doing. You can give people a little view behind the curtain. People love to see what's going on behind the title or behind the professional image. Yes, it's a professional platform, but you don't have to be scared to show a little bit of who you are at the same time. That's why when I talked about personal story, I actually work with my clients to tease out that nugget of a personal story, to introduce themselves in their summary, so that it helps give a human connection right away when somebody reads about them before they get into who they serve and how they help them. So that's where personal story comes in. But in today's environment, I thought I would a lot of people are asking me, like, I want to be on LinkedIn. I'm going there because I know there's a lot of news that LinkedIn, the company, is putting out about COVID-19. In fact, LinkedIn has a really excellent COVID-19 resource with a lot of articles and information from the CDC, from the New York Times, et cetera. So LinkedIn is actually trying to serve people from that standpoint, which I find very nice. I just think it's a good thing they're doing. Mm. But sharing your stories and experiences about like working from home, everybody can relate to that right now. Because everybody's stuck in that, or talking about what it's like to work from home and be able to have to teach your kids school during the day, or your spouse is home. I mean, we went from one dynamic to a completely different one in like less than 48 hours, it seems like. And so to share stuff about that is totally fine, because you're might find your tribe just by being relevant that way. Some of the popular topics you can post about on LinkedIn right now are things about remote working, whether it's your own experience or if you know a really great tip or trick about working from home. one thing Lisa and I have done, and you can see this and you can tell that Lisa and I know each other and we only live 45 minutes apart, is we've staged our backgrounds in our offices. Now,
Can I just
granted,
interrupt you for a second?
yes.
Kate staged my background. I had nothing to do with it.
So, but the thing is, we are our brand. And so we're on Zoom all the time and we get interviewed on podcasts and things like that. So to have a branded background for us totally makes sense. So you don't need to have a branded background if you're just working from home temporarily, but take the time to find a corner with some good lighting. Like I've got a window right here on this side. Pay attention to what's in your background. Make sure that when you're framed on the video like this, that you're sort of framed exactly like Lisa and I are, eyes in the upper third. You don't want if you're doing it on your phone, don't be doing a video conference looking down at your phone because everybody's looking up through your nose and at your ceiling. Spend some time thinking about what's where, have some balance. And what's cool is if you're using Zoom, you can actually log into a meeting by yourself. So you can turn on the camera and you can sit there and play with your lighting and what's behind you and see how it all looks on camera so that you can get it where you want it. And then when you go live, you're all set to go. So you can actually have a meeting by yourself. I don't think a lot of people realize they can do that. So remote work from home, is a good topic. Technology. We're all talking, what kind of technology? I mean, we use Zoom. I've been using Zoom every day for 4 or 5 years. After my email, Zoom is my most used tool. And then, the other thing too is what's really interesting right now, and a lot of people don't think about this on LinkedIn, is hashtags on LinkedIn are really popular. A lot of people think hashtags really rule on Twitter and on Instagram, and they do. But LinkedIn is putting a lot of effort and focus on using hashtags. And quick pro tip, when you post on LinkedIn, never ever more than 3 hashtags in a post. Not 2, not 4, 3, not 10, 3.
And why is that? Can you just share a quick tip on why?
I don't absolutely know the answer. All I know is that came direct from one of the LinkedIn product managers at LinkedIn Corporation in a thread with a bunch of us talking about best practices. And he said, for the LinkedIn algorithm, 3 hashtags is the magic number.
All right, I'm going to take that one and run with it then. Thank you.
Yes. So think about this though, is that since hashtags are so popular, I wrote down a couple here, is, research hashtags. So like in LinkedIn search in your toolbar, put hashtag work from home. Mm-hmm. And then a whole feed is going to open up of all of the things where people have used that hashtag relative to the topic of working from home. Lisa and I were on a meeting yesterday with a woman, Donna Cravata. I think you've had her in your series. Mm-hmm. And she talks about hashtags being the campfire of which everybody gathers around and discusses a topic. And I think it's an excellent way to describe hashtags if you've never really understood them. They're about a topic, about a category.
Right. So you can join the conversation. I just want to join in because when Donna talked to me about this, I worked with Donna one-on-one as well. When I have worked with Donna on this, the hashtag is always so elusive, I find, and it is about being around that campfire. But if you're having a difficult time joining a conversation, you're not quite sure how to jump in and participate, finding a hashtag that's in alignment with your brand, your strategy, the work that you do allows you to jump into that conversation and make connections that you may not have normally made or felt comfortable reaching out to the people.
Exactly.
So having said that, can I just jump in? Like one of the things that I really work on is time management, priority management, right? Which can we admit in today's day and age, it's kind of been obliterated. Like all of our time and our priority management is completely thrown out the window. Even our priorities are no longer.
Why I have you working with me on that.
Right? So I want to talk just a second about time chunking. Like, again, it's thrown out the window and we have new things that we had our structure around us that allowed us to keep things at bay and have the boundaries. That's just not happening right now. So can you give some tips and tools on, how much time should people be investing? How many posts should they be putting out there? How many people should, is a good number to be reaching out to on a daily or weekly basis to connect?
So great question. All the social channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., all of them have best practices for how often you should post. So for Twitter, people post constantly all day long. I call it the flash in the pan post, but you're not necessarily going to see them because people don't go back to Twitter and scroll through. They kind of just go in the moment. Mm-hmm. Facebook is definitely, it's just more informal conversational. People do scroll because they want to see what their friends and everybody are up to. Instagram is a really great visual tool, great social tool. It's a minimum hashtag count on Instagram is 20 to 30 because it reaches all these different people. But on LinkedIn, less is more. Now, that said, consistency still matters. So on all of those channels I just mentioned, consistent posting per the channel is important. So while if you use Twitter in your marketing for whatever, you might have 3 or 4 tweets go out a day. But on Facebook, you may only have one.
Whoops, you froze for a second there.
Hello?
There we go. You're back.
Okay. The Zoom gremlins. Everybody in the world is on Zoom right now. So.
We'll try to cut that out.
Yeah. So anyway, on the hashtag, so on LinkedIn, if you can be posting once a week, if that feels like that was doable for you, great. If you could do 2 or 3 times a week, that's great. I would say somewhere 1 to 2 times a week and space out your posts. So like if you make a post on Monday, don't make your next one until Wednesday or Thursday. But make sure it's really meaningful. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about posts, I mean creating an original post. Now you can be in LinkedIn every day if you want, commenting, sharing, putting a comment in on someone's post. That's totally fine. But as far as originating a post, I'd say 1 to 2 a week. But whatever you choose to do, then be consistent with it because that's where you gain traction and connection.
And be authentic as well. I found
always.
Right. But as we're starting to get out, especially those of us, I mean, there's many people in transition right now, right? We don't know what the next 60 or 90 days are going to be like. And at least when I got started with LinkedIn or any social or on video, it's really hard because it feels uncomfortable and it's really, you want to be a certain way. If there's one thing that I can say, and I love your input on this, is just be authentic. Just show up, be goofy. I'm a little quirky, and I'm finally leaning into that. And I'm having a lot more people say, you're a lot more authentic. I can see you're coming from the heart. Whereas before I was just trying to get the information across and I was very serious about it. Can you talk a little bit about, what are some tips or tools or insights that you could share on if someone is going to go and do a video and post it? What would
a video? Okay.
I mean, if someone wanted to do a video on LinkedIn and just try sharing their expertise or writing, either one, just authenticity.
Okay. So from a video standpoint, the best way to get into video, if you're not too sure about it, is to do what you're doing and interview somebody else. To have somebody else to talk to and have a conversation with and have it be an interview but you want to go in, you want to be prepared for the interview. You want to have some kind of an agenda. What are the top 2 or 3 high points you want to hit on the interview and make sure you hit them. And it needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you're going to do it by yourself and you're just going to do a video tip, then no more than 2 to 3 minutes max on LinkedIn, especially. By the way, just so you know, on LinkedIn, you cannot have a video uploaded to LinkedIn that is 10 minutes or longer. It has to be 10 minutes or 9 minutes and 59 seconds. It does have to be longer than 3 seconds. So that should be easy.
Hello. Goodbye.
But do a tip. And again, prepare for whatever your tip, again, keep in mind that you want to be of service to people. You want to help them. Think about so much about what share some things about that. Even if you, somebody else, if you want to talk about what it's like to work in that industry and what you like about it or what you enjoy about it, that's great. From a writing standpoint, I would say that that whole piece about being authentic is truly don't try to be something you're not. Because if people meet you later on at a conference or something in real life, the way you present yourself online, on LinkedIn, on any channel, on any social channel, is exactly who they want to meet when they meet you. So if you're packaging yourself to be something you're really not, and then you're like this and quiet, and people are going to be like, wow, there's a real disconnect here. And you know what that does? That actually creates distrust. So when you are yourself and you are authentic in whatever way you present yourself, you're building trust. And so that's what's so nice about LinkedIn is that you can really be yourself. You can still be a professional and you can build that know, like, and trust factor.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Can we wrap up with just a couple of tips, 1 to 3 tips that you might provide for people to get started now we've got a little extra time, and whether it's because of the virus or it's several months down the road, and people want to sort of improve their story and their personal brand within their summary. Can you give a couple of tips on how people could get started, please?
Sure. So the first one is if you've got time on your hands right now, add to your to-do list of going and showing some love to your LinkedIn personal profile page.
Beautiful.
Go in there. First of all, just check to make sure your job description's even your current job description. Check your photo. If it's a photo from like 5 or 10 years ago and you don't really look like that anymore, put up a current professional high resolution photo that if you can. You know, pay attention to your about section. So the about section is the most read section of one's profile. And a lot of people are scared of it. So they don't put anything. And when you don't put anything, that looks bad. So
Can I
show some.
interject for a second? Your about, is that right at the header or is that
Yes.
the body?
So,
Okay.
so the first thing you come to where you see the name and the headline and everything, that's called the intro card. It's got your photo and your contact information and it shows where you went to school. And then just below that is the about section. It used to be called the summary. And you have up to 2,600 characters there. It's about 500 words-ish. And so really, and when you work on that piece, this is a big tip, work on it in a Word doc or a Google doc or something. Don't work on it in the actual back end of your LinkedIn because you want to write something that's really great. Make sure it fits. And then when you got it where you want it, go in and cut and paste it in there. Make sure your experience section is filled out. Pay most attention to the description for what you put for your current role now, whether it's your own business or you work for someone else. And do not use resume speak. Don't start sentences with developed, created, implemented, responsible for. That's resume speak. First person, conversational. So, and then make sure that your other sections are filled out. So again, just show it some love. The more you put in your LinkedIn profile, the more LinkedIn raises your profile to be found in search results. And that's half the battle.
Awesome. So one quick question just to follow up on the photos. Let's just say someone's like, okay, I really, right now is not a good time to book a photographer for a head shoot.
Correct.
Right? So if someone had, if they've got one from 5 or 10 years ago, or even last year where they just look significantly different, would you suggest maybe having just, is an iPhone or a Pixel phone something for right now to get them updated, make sure?
Yes, I mean, we've got really good cameras right here on our phones. Even if your phone's 3 or 4 years old, they're still good. Just, I'll give you some quick tips. So take your photo against a neutral background. Have somebody take the photo with you. If they can do it in portrait mode, if your camera has that capability, that's great because it sort of blurs the background and puts the focus on you. The other thing I always tell people is like, if here's the camera, like right in front of me, like I'm looking at, and that's the photographer. Don't do it head on like this, like a driver's license or a passport photo. Turn your body at an angle and look at the camera like this. So it's just a little more professional. And if you have a turkey neck, it's very slimming. So there's that too. So, find a way and then make sure like before your picture's taken, I always tell people like, and relax your shoulders so that you're not tense and like this. Okay. And make sure you've got decent lighting, and that your background is neutral. If it's against a brick wall or something, just make sure there's not a tree or a lamppost growing out of the back of your head or something like that. So pay attention to your background. And I think that you could take something very nicely on your phone. And then when we get back to normal, if that ever happens, then find a photographer who can do it for you.
Right. There's so many out there that could do a really great job. So
yes.
Kate, thank you so much for sharing so many amazing tips and tools from so many different angles. I think everyone has really gathered many different things that they can do. And there's so much more. I do just want to do a really quick summary of what you just said. The first one is get a professional headshot. That's just really important, or at least take one on your camera that's up to date. The second one is to write your summary. Is it summary, did you say now? Or about?
It used to be called summary. Now it's called the about section.
The about section in the first person. Don't do it in resume speak. And then
don't write your about section in third person like a bio. Sorry to interrupt you.
And really the third piece is just consistency. If it's once a week and meaty, great content. So do you have anything to add to that, to those three? I mean, other than everything we've just talked about, but if they walked away with just these three things, I think that it would really improve their profile.
Absolutely. Yep. Just be authentic, be consistent, It's just like anything. If you want to build traction, and be a good listener too. Don't just talk about yourself. Listen to what other people post and share good things and shout outs to others and show the love.
Yeah, so, so important. So thank you, Kate. I really appreciate it. Where can anyone find you? Because I know you have all these wonderful, you do group programs. If someone were interested in learning more about you, where should they reach out? Of
Well,
course,
they can certainly go to my website, which is standingoutonline.com. And there's a form there that you can fill out. And there's also a little button there if you want to have a 15-minute discovery call with me. But also, please connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know you saw me on Lisa's program here. So I'm under LinkedIn at Kate Paine, Paine, Kateepaine. And I'm on the other channels as well. But and you can also email me at kate@standingoutonline.com.
awesome. Kate, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If
Thank
you
you.
liked this video, please share it with friends. Please we'd love to have you comment as well. Have you got some questions or whatnot? Also, share if you are willing. This is all about a culture of caring, right? We're all coming together and really supporting, creating a community and a culture of caring. If you like this video or if you like remote working from home, please go to the right of the remote working from home page, and there's a little button that says invite friends, and all of your friends are there. There must be a few that you think that you know that would benefit from Kate's experience and all of the wonderful information that we've put there. So please feel free to invite. Please pay it forward. It's a culture of caring. And Kate, thanks again. So, so, so grateful for you spending your time with us.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
All right. Thanks. Bye.